In three, two, one. Welcome, people. Thank you so much for stopping in. A little word of advice from you, or for you, actually. Hopefully, advice from you. But right now, I want to tell you, if you don't know how to cook risotto, as I don't know how to cook risotto, this is something we should all learn, because if you whip out a good risotto for somebody, there's very few things more impressive. And I say that to mean essentially that it's time now for the Disney Podclassics. I'm Harrison. I'm your host. And with me, as always, is Jay. Jay, go ahead and say hello.
Yeah, I'm Team Risotto as well, and I'm excited to talk about the one that started it all.
Yeah, not the risotto that started it all, but the movie that started it all.
Arguably, with the
Oh, that's a good
pasta.
point. That's a good point. What we do here at the Disney Pod Classics, Jay and I grew up watching Disney films. We were shaped by them. Fundamentally, our moral characteristics are pretty much 100% attributed to what we learned through these animated feature films. Is that disturbing? Maybe, but it is also the truth. And now, here we are, 29 years later, whatever old we are, and we decided to go take a look back, a walk back through our childhood and see, where did we come from and what does that look like now? So we're starting it off chronologically with number one, numero uno. As Jay said, the risotto to start it all. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. This one is one of the movies that everybody knows about. It's very iconic. It's very, noteworthy, huge fan favorite. Also, the source material for most people's nightmares growing up. So,
You're here.
Yeah, here. My sister, Hope, who is about 25, but don't test me, wouldn't watch it with me still. So that gives you an indicator of what kind of impact this movie has on people. Jay, as a child, what was this movie like for you?
Yeah, this was one I definitely watched a good amount as a kid. It's so classical, and we grew up in the early 90s, but it didn't feel like it was 40, 50 years old at that point. And there is the clear distinction of a point in your life where you're too young to watch this as a kid because
that's a
of the
real
witch.
thing.
And then once you get past that, there's other aspects of the story that just fall a little flat at some points. So it's kind of a weird conundrum. Like once you get old enough to get through the witches, you aren't
Almost
as
lose your
interested in some of the
appreciation to it.
slapstick humor.
Yeah, that's very true. It's kind of a weird balance. And it's like an avocado of a Disney movie. It's ripe in your life for about 5 seconds before
Yeah.
it's kind of too stale or brown or whatever. But before that, it's impossible to eat. Yeah, so this was 1937, like you said, a very old movie, and sometimes feels like it's a little above its time. But in some ways, it still feels like it was the number one movie, I think. Did you like it this time?
Yes,
Yeah.
I really liked it. It actually surprised me how much I did. I thought there'd be some aspects where it felt like it had aged a little bit at points, but I think the most clear thing of any criticism that we say after this, it is so far ahead of its time,
Yes.
and it should not have been this good for being the
Yes.
very first animated feature film.
What else from 1937 still holds up? Like that list of anything? I mean, can you think
It's
of anything off the
few and
top?
far. I mean, Wizard of Oz is the movie that kept coming up for me
That's a good
that
point. Good point.
everyone knows. Like
Yep.
it is these two movies in the 30s.
Yeah. The 30s were not our best as humanity, but they did bring us this. I guess it's obvious to say this movie was terrifying to me as a child. When I grew up watching it,
Yeah.
this is a scary movie to watch. You see those images in your brain for nights in a row and years in a row.
Yeah.
So
It's like when you're walking in the dark in your house and like you know where the
golly,
ledge
man.
of the like table is, but you're not quite sure exactly where. So you just steer like way too far away from it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how this movie was for me as a kid
Yeah.
because of the witch.
Yeah, because if you hit it wrong, and honestly, like going through the movie, like you're terrified of it, but you don't really remember exactly how it comes up all the time, and like,
Oh yeah.
and you knock into that in the night, and you're gonna feel it. You're gonna break a toe or something,
Yep.
emotionally, of course. That old saying, breaking a toe emotionally.
Exactly.
What do you know about this movie?
Yeah. Well, the first thing to say is there are documentaries about the making of Snow White. So go check them out if you want a lot of information. For now, the key points is that everyone in Hollywood thought it would be a flop
Including Walt's
completely.
wife.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. You would think be loyal to the man, right?
Behind every great man, right?
Exactly.
There's a
Yeah, good
woman
point.
who's doubting the shit out of him.
That could be true too.
Uh,
And
Hopefully
then
not.
Walt bet everything on the success of this movie. Like
Mm.
everything he had done with the short films and animation skits, all of it was banked on this, similar to what he did with Walt Disney World and the Disney parks as
He would
well.
go all in, man. He knew how
Yeah,
to go
he
all
did
in.
this multiple times. He was like James Cameron, but even more dramatic. And then there was the film's budget as well was 10 times more than any short film that they had created, and it made 5, 6 times that amount
That's so
just
crazy.
with the opening box office. But then it got re-released 100 times since then, and so it has made so much movie for the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah. The thing I saw about that too is that Walt apparently came up with the idea. This just shows you how far like above the rest of humanity he is. Apparently, when he was 15, he came up with the idea that he's going to do a retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and then like went on in his life and did that on this scale. And now
Yeah,
here we are, a bunch of schmucks with his merchandise, like reviewing it and all, just bankrolled his whole company. And like at 15, man, like I wasn't doing anything. I
yeah,
suck. The one other thing I saw that is crazy to me, and I've known this before, but this is one of Hitler's favorite movies. I think
yeah,
you told me that once. Like
yeah. I
that
know.
blows my mind. I looked into that further. Turns out there's like sketches that he would make of the characters that you can look up. And I
Oh my
think
gosh.
apparently someone found it like hidden behind another painting, and it was
Whoa.
signed by him and stuff, sold in Britain. I don't remember when, but it was for like 60 grand. Someone went and bought his pictures, and it's like Sleepy and Doc and Snow White and
That's
like
so
all he
creepy.
like drew, and they're actually pretty good legitimately, but really weird to show
Yeah.
you like what goes through the mind of the Führer when it comes to watching the Snow White. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
I wonder the population polled at the end of like 38, a year after this movie came out, how many people would say Snow White was one of their favorites?
It was probably one of the only movies out.
Yeah,
There's like
I
5
hope
movies.
that was
That's
the
one of my
case.
faves. Let's get into the movie. Overall synopsis. Jay, why don't you start us off with where the movie begins, and we'll talk about it. I think it deserves a look back. Let's give it what it's due.
Yep, exactly. So the one that started it all,
Mm.
first chapter, first of everything. First character you get introduced to, first song, all of it's very exciting for any Disney fan. You get introduced to Snow White, to the Queen, to the Prince, and the Huntsman. And you find out that the Huntsman has been sent to go kill Snow White because the Queen is not the fairest of them all. And the Huntsman ends up backing away from it, and she runs off and eventually finds a cottage. And we will stop there with chapter 1. And I'm just curious to begin this conversation. Do you think it ever crossed the Queen's mind when she found out she wasn't the fairest of them all to like exercise or to like go on a diet or
Improve
anything in that
herself.
realm to improve herself instead of just eliminating her competition?
I don't think so at all. And here's the thing, like this woman's delusional. You know, I my first note of this whole movie was it says every day she wakes
Yeah,
up and asks the same question,
yeah,
which means up until now she's gotten the same answer every single day.
yeah.
So she
She's
goes
like
there.
2 years old asking
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and just every day like I wonder if it like I don't do anything every day besides like brush my teeth, because that, I mean, I guess that maybe it's brushing her mental teeth in a way to just kind of know. I guess we're all looking for validation. I see a lot of myself in the witch. But no, I don't think she even for a second, like, look at her house, man. Like she's got skeletons standing up and chains. Like she looks like she's got it together. She is technically the fairest of the land until Snow White gets to be whatever age she is.
14.
Oh, I thought it was
Keep going.
older.
Keep going.
Yeah,
We're just
that's
gonna skip through that.
well, yeah. Until Snow White comes of the ripe age of 14.
Mhm.
Um, And yeah, no, she's not thinking this is a problem with me. She's thinking this is a problem with you. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's almost as if like, for example, if you were really focused on like running faster than me
Mm.
and I didn't know that, and so we just decide to go to a park and like every day you're thinking like I have to beat Jay when we run today.
I've beaten you in a
And you
race
just like
before.
casually bring up like, hey Jay, you want to just do like some sprints, just like for fun? And I'm just enjoying the moment, enjoying the sunshine, and you are like psychotic
Yeah.
about beating this. Like, do you think the queen was going around like, oh no, only the fairest of them all can have this brunch? Like, no, it's not for you. Like all those little jabs, and Snow White is so
Fairest of them all
confused.
discount. Like look for that
Exactly.
senior
It's not
10% off at
attractive
movies.
when
No.
you see it. And it's like, oh my God, you've had this competition in your head that no one else is aware of, and you're a psycho.
Well, what bothered me as well is the fact that like so totally deserves mentioning. And something I never saw when I was younger watching this is the fact that she goes to the mirror and she calls it slave instead of mirror, mirror on the wall or whatever. It's just slave.
Yeah.
Whoa. And he's so unamused. What are you about to say about that? Because that
It's
blew my
it
socks
is
off.
the first word in any Disney movie is slave.
That's
Like, let that sink
brutal.
into your head.
Yeah.
There should be such a larger
Brutal.
backstory as well. Like, not in this
Yeah.
movie, but I want to see a prequel. Like, what the hell happened to this slave?
Where
How
was it
did
a
he?
human at one point?
Yes.
Did they do something wrong and this is a punishment? Did they do something wrong to the queen? But like
Yeah.
so bored, it just radiates from this mirror. It's like, oh, what up, bitch? Let me guess what you're about to ask again.
Yeah.
And of all the things you could be asking, but here's the thing. He gives a description. He doesn't say it's her. He just says, what's he say? Like hair is black as ebony, lips as red as the rose, skin as white as snow. And she's just like, oh shit, Snow White. But that description could mean a lot of people technically. And I think there'd be no chance that it'd be the girl that's been growing up in your house all day or all her life so far, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, you're not actually sure that you got the right person.
Yeah. Which, man, what a twist that would be, right?
Oh, he's like, yeah, no, still that girl with the ebony and rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you killed your daughter? What? You sick freak.
Yeah.
No,
Was
she's
it
still
her?
out there.
Yeah,
She's
it was
14.
Delilah down the street. What
You
are
don't
you
know
talking
Delilah.
about?
She's super hot. Your kid's a child. What'd you think it was her?
In
Okay.
rags. What are you
You
doing?
got your. I know I'm just a slave. You got your stuff. I'll let you sort that out.
Do you remember the times before everyone had a smartphone in their pocket?
Yes.
A la
Fondly.
you bullshit about anything and people couldn't
Oh.
look it up. Like you could say you're Walt Disney's grandson and no one would be able
Yes.
to look up Walt Disney's
Yes.
grandkids. The Magic Mirror was the first smartphone.
Oh my God, yeah. I wasn't old enough to use that as well. Yeah, I mean, that's just making me realize like that was an era that would have been good to be like my age now. You could say anything, and I wasn't even smart enough back when that happened. I'm still was rocking VHSs, like I was there, but I was not there. I could have used that. He really cracked the code. I think that was like the infinite intelligence that smartphones has given us on her wall. And the one thing she asked was, am I still the hottest bitch in the land? And that makes
I know.
no sense.
No, it does not. A lot of other
Unreal.
questions you could ask.
Unreal.
Yeah. We got to talk about Mr. Prince Charming swooping in.
Lord.
What are your thoughts about the prince?
Dude, I mean, it's hard to imagine that. I get it. It was their first shot, but to call this guy Prince Charming is so bonkers to me. Like he starts it off by breaking and entering and totally creeping up on her. Like the whole thing, and it's just a boy version of Snow White animation wise. I did see that they wanted more of a role for him, but it was just too complex to animate him or something. So they had to scale it back, and they scaled it back to just like Snow White in boy's clothes. And I don't know what she sees in him, but he literally is like the creepiest advance I've ever seen in my entire life. What, did you not get that vibe?
That's what I thought going in. I would feel that a lot more. And I'm not defending the guy,
Dude.
but they both seemed as interested as they could be with one another. Like Snow White could have reacted a lot of different ways. And yes, she ran back into her room and then looked back out.
Fearfully.
Yes, but she did accept it in a safe manner. And I'm not saying anything more than that.
She
all right?
leaned in. She leaned
Yeah.
in.
But no. But he was at a safe distance singing to her, and
Dude,
ultimately he could have been denied.
I feel guilty if I approach a beautiful woman at the grocery store or the gym or something, like at a public place. I'm like, I'm probably messing her day up potentially. He jumps into her backyard while she's singing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I quote, "Now that I've found you, hear what I have to say." That's his first line to her, which is, I mean, confidence is up here. But
couple things. We don't know if there's any backstory between them. He could be living down the strerit, like now that I found you, like perhaps again, didn't fit lyrically, but perhaps, okay? This was the most shocking part actually, because I remember Prince Charming like being very flat, but I will say one of my favorite Disney songs is one song. And I do not...
you won't go back
because of that song, I feel an affinity towards Prince Charming that his character doesn't have. He's very flat. He just sings that one song.
He just sings that one song.
Now, that also leads into music time with Jay.
Music time with Jay. One of my favorite personal parts of the podcast. This is the segment where Jay discusses the real-world example and real-life application of one of his favorite songs in the movie. Jay, take us away. Tell us what you think.
Yes. So I'm thinking modern day, okay? A prisoner has been wrongfully put on death row.
Whoa.
Okay? I know it's going dark. All right.
The
witch shot thought she could go dark. Well, I'm gonna match her.
One up her.
Yeah.
Fire with fire, Jay.
And let's say, all right, he's not guilty and he gets put into like the electric chair and there's audience that's watching him, okay? And then they ask him, any final words, sir? And then he just belts into, one song, I have but one song.
It's noble as hell.
Echoing through the prison. All right? People haven't heard music like this before.
Yeah.
You know, it's that Shawshank type dramatic scene.
I'm on.
And everyone is just watching this beauty come from this man's voice before he gets the electric chair.
Oh, and he dies.
And he dies.
What an emotional roller coaster you just took me on, Jay.
Yeah, no, this is what I've been thinking about for like 24 hours.
This is never leaving my head. Thank you for that. I was happy to share it. Wow. Well, that was Music Time with Jay. And honestly, what a creative way to look at that.
The song is just fantastic, and it is the first song that gets played in a Disney movie. And it is the bridge, and it is a long bridge that actually gets you to believe that Snow White and Prince Charming should be together.
I just wish that
without that song, it's just there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's a great song though. It really is. Great for the electric chair. You know that old genre.
Yeah.
Like Google comes up, hey, it looks like you're in the electric chair. Last time you listened to this. Like, there you go. Thanks.
Yeah. Check out my Spotify playlist
for the electric
chair. One song in the electric chair songs.
I want to talk about one thing before we move to the next chapter, and it's just this predicament that our friend the huntsman finds himself in, and how horrifying. I mean, like, now that I'm like a working age male, I can look at this as if, what if I was the huntsman? Like, what if that was me? If you were the huntsman and the boss who you have watched leave a lot of people to their death. I say that because there's just a lot of people in compromising positions in dungeons. Which just have been left there. Yeah. You've watched a lot of leave deaths. You know what she's capable of. And she says, bring me this 14-year-old girl's heart. What are you supposed to do? What do you do? What would you do?
I think I would have done a pretty similar move, but I probably would have I would have never, I can't lie. So I would have never killed a pig and brought the heart back. I am running in the opposite direction of Snow White and just hoping for the best.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I'm obviously not going to follow through on the task, but I will never
Golly.
return to that castle.
I mean, and you don't know how many people he's killed before. We think he's in a bad position. This may be his bread and butter, and he just got to that last day where he's like, you know what? I'm like 55. He's probably like
I think he did.
25, and he's
Yeah.
like, I can't do this anymore, especially with this little girl who's so enchanting.
Maybe
Um,
he's the guy on death row. Never killed a soul. He's the
that's
witch
it.
the whole time.
That's it. Well, he could. I mean, he might have left. He had to have left people. If he's been there, he's left people to their death. I don't know, man. The fact that she requested a heart, that went right over my head as a kid. Like I didn't understand like the actual practice of having to retrieve a heart from a small person you've just killed is something I'm going to stop talking about now. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Just wild. Let's talk about the second chapter. Does that sound good to you?
Sounds great.
So Snow White's gotten to the cottage, and she cleans it. I say she cleans it. She uses all the animals to clean it. Then you meet the dwarves. You watch them kind of working in the mine. They come back. They find that someone's been using their house. They see that Snow White's asleep in the bed. And they at first are very apprehensive. What the hell's going on? This is our home. But then they realize it's all clean. She's great. She's beautiful. And they end up having dinner and dancing, and there's all that nonsense. And then the witch decides she's going to take matters in her own hand in the parallel, and she forms this creepy brew and turns herself into a witch. I mean, I'm calling her the witch because of her heart, but at this point she's the queen. She transforms into this hag that is almost too familiar from when I was sleeping.
Come on, that's a derogatory word on old people.
That's
all right,
someone's daughter.
She had some, exactly. I would like to see the mom.
But they're proud. So that's pretty much it. The thing I want to talk about from this chapter more than anything is the dwarves, obviously. But just this mining operation that they've got. First off, I mean, I'm not a jeweler, and I don't think you are either, but I can understand the value that they've got in that mine in thousands and thousands of jewels, and they're doing nothing with them. I just want to understand what you think the economic breakdown of their whole operation is, because I look at it and I see absolutely nothing, and I've got stuff to back that up.
Yeah, they got to have a great real estate place, like right on the river, that cottage, because the cottage is not nice, and they have 7 people sleeping in it, and they have so much access to these diamonds that they should all, at the very least, have their own bedroom.
100%.
It does not make sense. And it was something I thought about as well. I don't know what the operations are. I'll tell you. Well, I wonder, are they dwarfs and there's like a king, like a Stromboli?
Oh, who's
doesn't give them any of the money.
See, here's the thing. They're talking about getting rich. They're talking about digging a lot in the song Hi Ho.
They say dig a lot in that song.
Yeah, they do. Many
Multiple times.
More than 5 times, I'll tell you. But let me read you a small quote from that song that just blew my mind.
Educate.
Says, "We dig up diamonds by the score, 1,000 rubies, sometimes more. We don't know what we dig them for, but we dig, 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 dig." So they don't even have a purpose. They just throw them in the vault, and that's their day. They're like a computer program that you play in a video game who's just always like raking the same piece of farm or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What an existence that they've got. Where are they getting their food? Where are they getting their shelter? But they could just be, we build more house room for us, for all of us. Like, I don't see what, it's just sad to see that is one point. I never saw that. I thought it was for a purpose. There's no purpose.
Yeah, they're not fulfilled. They would be great employees, but you would want to help them with work-life balance and figure out what is the meaning of life.
Yeah, really bold to just put them out there with. I just think if there's one thing that needs a prequel, you're making me think that I want to see it with the slave as well. But the dwarves, how they got into this situation, where they found the mine, why they what they're like when they're young. I would love to see all these things.
Maybe and incorporate them. Have the dwarfs and the slave before he was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bring out all the
really combine them
pieces. The huntsman, I'd love to see his background. We got a real prequel there. I mean, honestly, everybody, not Snow White. I'm tired of her. She sings like an alarm clock. Like, I could totally do
Whoa,
without any
whoa,
more of her.
whoa.
Yeah, I said it. She's 14 and she sounds like it. She's
Wow.
got that floppy hand run that I don't like. That,
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
woo!
You make some good points. We'll talk about her in a moment. There is also something, and I was completely sober watching this, and it will make sense why I say that for the point I'm about to bring up.
I'm curious, yeah.
The scene where they go back and they know that someone's living in the house, but they don't know who, right? They're in there and it's like so much slapstick humor, and like that's kind of the main complaint for me. I understand at the time it was so far and beyond what anyone had ever seen that they were just playing around with the amazing animation. That is like one of the points of the movie that drags to me a little bit.
Yeah, there are
And
a
then
few
I
parts that are
and
like
then I
that.
got to thinking, what if we'll start with this movie, but it's much broader. What if in this movie they picked like Halloween night, didn't tell anyone on Disney Plus,
Well,
and actually added like an edited scene where like the queen is like watching them through the
ooh,
window?
ooh.
Or like it's not what you think, right? Because if you've seen this movie, you know it's just Snow White.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. But what if you got a curveball that like the queen is actually there?
Why
Or
Halloween
like,
night?
well, because it would be a good marketing ploy, okay?
Yeah,
But
we're
you could
changing Snow White
you
this
but no,
Halloween.
see that's the thing. It wouldn't be like George Lucas changing Star Wars. It would
Yeah.
just be for one night,
So you're saying the
just
queen
adding a
is looking
wrinkle.
through and it's therefore she just what does that accomplish? She knows where they are. She knows.
It just adds that much more suspense because
Uh,
they mention in that next scene to Snow White, like she's invisible, she knows black magic, she could be anywhere. Like
oh,
what if
I
she
see.
actually
Right
was like
there.
on the roof
She's there.
peering in or
Woof.
like looking through the window? It would add a little bit
That would
more
add a lot,
complexity.
actually. And I actually would have loved to see her be more involved and more threatening. It's almost weird how she's kind of worried about the dwarves and like she
Big time.
changes. Yeah, like she's like, concerned with changing her appearance. She plans it actually quite well, the whole
Yeah.
ending. But like, it's just she could be a lot worse. She's just scary to look at, man. That's
Yeah.
the thing. She's just a terrifying human to look at. I feel like we're talking about her so much. We might as well bring up Jay's jailbird jitters. Why don't you give us what you think about the villain, Jay?
Yeah. She like the movie, it's way better than it ever should be for being the first one. Same thing with this villain. Like she is so iconic, and I love Maleficent as she sits above me right
Hmm.
here. I mean,
Shout
there
out.
are few villains that I think are as iconic as her, and that should have never been the case with the very first Disney movie. Like they should have failed at this multiple times before they
Hmm.
actually nailed the villain.
Practice makes perfect kind of thing.
Exactly. But they just came out swinging. And yes, she is so scary,
She
right?
is,
But
man.
without her, without those scary scenes, this movie is very boring.
She certainly scared the crap out of me and my sisters. It's just so funny to look back at her now. She is scary, but like, there's a lot of her that's just an old woman, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is really
She's got that
creepy.
like bump on her nose, like and she's got like that one tooth, which I think really adds something. But when I was
Yeah.
really looking at it, I was like, I'm not afraid of you, and breaking down why I might have been. Um, it's just very interesting.
I mean, the scene when she does transform as an adult now, like does
Hmm.
that still make you uncomfortable watching that?
It no, dude. I'm a full-grown man. What are you talking about? I don't feel fear when I watch Snow White, the transformation scene. It's not as scary to me as the scene in the next chapter that we'll come
Mm.
up to. That rocks my bones, if you know what I mean. Let's talk about Snow White for a second because it's been a little bit of the movie. We haven't really gotten into it. Do you like Snow White? Because I don't like her.
No.
Here's a
I
question for you.
yeah.
If you met a woman who was actually that entrapped and entangled with animals the way that she is, what would your actual thoughts on that be? Like they follow her around of all species and she can get them to do stuff and it's so like nonchalant
Yeah.
then it's concerning to me. Like, what would you feel if you actually met, like, would that be attractive? Or would you be like, what the hell is up with this person? Would it be a red flag? How do you take that in real life? Like when the prince finds out, what's
The short answer is no.
no
It
what?
is not attractive. Like, I don't feel comfortable around a lot of animals, and I've had to
Oh
adjust
yeah,
as there's so many
gotta have raccoons
possums.
in that posse, dude.
Yeah, no, like there's a good chance if I look out this window, I will see a raccoon at some point
It
during
will
this
stop the
recording.
podcast. Absolutely.
But I've come to accept it, but Lord, would I not want it following my loved
Oh
one.
yeah.
There's just so
So deal breaker.
it also, I was gonna say, it depends on the animals though. Like, what if it's just deer?
That's
It
amazing.
changes it,
That's
right?
regal almost. Yeah, that's a really good point. But if it's like, I mean, she cleans the cabin with them, and I'm sitting there as an adult thinking, well, this is dirtier than it was before.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that is
I had a
absolutely
problem.
vile. Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
squirrels, like doing the plates. I'm like, they're about to eat off that, and they're gonna get like there's salmonella. There's some like mad cow disease.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows what they've got now? That's
Exactly.
not clean. They're sweeping everything with all the hair's
Yep.
got to be everywhere. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
let's just say it's the gang that she's got. I mean, it's pretty much every animal that comes in contact with her. A lot of
Yep.
birds,
Exactly. And I will say, Harrison and I lived in college together, and we got a portable dishwasher that you can just hook up right to the sink. All
Where are
right.
you going with this?
I'm saying, with all the diamonds that they were getting, you think they could invest in a cheap
Sell
little
one.
dishwasher to get it going.
Yeah, that's a great point. That thing is.
If we could afford it in college, we weren't finding diamonds.
Yeah, we don't have a vault. Can you imagine how easy it is to rob them? Like if anyone rocks up to that mine, it's just a key. They're like, huh, okay, takes the door off, and like they've been working for 90 years on all these diamonds, and now they're just here. I don't
That's
know.
weird.
It's weird. Let's move on to the third chapter.
Yep.
This is I'll let you take this away. Hit us,
Yeah.
Jay.
So
us
this is the famous scene of the apple, being transferred to Snow White. The dwarfs are gone, so she's able to sneak in and convinces Snow White to take a bite. She, of course, does, as the whole world knows at this point. And
She has
then
to.
the animals alert the dwarfs to come back. They chase her all the way up the hill. Of course, it's raining. There's vultures. Great.
Instantly raining.
Yeah,
Just begins
dramatic
raining.
scene. And then as the queen is trying to push a boulder off, she has lightning hit her platform, and she falls, and the rock falls on her, and she dies. Then Snow White, she is dead for the count until
Dead for the
True
count.
Love's first kiss, right?
Right.
So the prince comes back, finds her, kisses her, they ride off in the sunset, and you know it, one song closes the movie and
Shuts it down
ends.
like an
So,
electric chair.
I'm going to add here that there is a popular Disney theory that I've never heard about until today.
Sounds popular.
You remember the skeleton that the witch kicks?
Yeah.
That is the prince. Stay with me. And Snow White just dies. That she never wakes up from True Love's first kiss. And kind of like the scene in Titanic at the end, it was heaven where they reunite.
Wow.
Go off into the sunset. And the orangey skies also represent heaven. What do you think of that theory? Do you believe it? And whether you believe it or not, does it make the story better?
I would like to see a little bit more of a tie to it because I do think that makes the story better. Here's the thing I was going to say when you were talking. She was so close to killing all of them with that crazy boulder. She got cocky and laughed, but for a couple seconds. And, you can't plan for lightning to strike your platform. But she had a decent plan. Like she made good choices in that moment. It's very possible that she did pull that off, because they're all there with her. They're watching it happen. So technically they're dead too, right? So everyone's dead?
No, so the witch would still die. Like that's normal. The dwarfs are alive. But
that's where it gets a little foggy for me. A little
the
rocky, as you would
witch,
say.
and
Nice
Snow
one.
White all die.
Yeah, I think that makes me feel more comfortable because some of the themes of this, like the prince, is just like he's just such a fuckboy, man. Like he comes in and kisses a dead girl that he met once. Like
He was singing one song.
yeah, but
All
that
right, it
doesn't
doesn't
change
matter if
everything.
you can sing and dance. Hasn't pop culture taught us anything?
That's true. You sing, you dance, you get away with whatever you want. That's true. And I mean, I just put myself in his position where it's like I met this one girl once. I thought we hit it off great. She did too, apparently. Then I'm looking for her everywhere, and I can't find her. I hear that someone died. I hear that a maiden died, not through my smartphone or a mirror, just through word of mouth.
Yeah.
So then I head over there. It's got to have been weeks, man. They put her in an eternal coffin. They could pay for that. He gets over there, and his first thought is, open that bitch up. I'm about to kiss her on the mouth. What? Come on, man. Like, that makes me feel better. If it's heaven, that's beautiful. You know what I mean? If it's,
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This is one of the only Disney movies I can remember, and we'll see more as we go through them, but she prays in this movie. Did you notice that? She actually, it's normally like a wishing star thing, but she prays, gives it the whole amen and everything. That could be a hint to support your theory.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
The plot thickens a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I completely understand why most people would just say like Prince Charming is crap. But if he died by the witch and that was his skeleton that she kicks.
That's a long time.
And this is just a big reunion though.
Mm.
You don't know how long Snow White is living out there.
Well, because also she did identify the fact that if, True Love's Kiss, she sees the interaction in the beginning. She knows that guy's gaming for her. So she's a rational woman. You have to give her that. She could have been like, you know what? Eliminate all my possibilities of exit. Let's do this.
Yeah. Well,
I
actually love in that scene when the queen at that time, it's the witch, she's laughing of like, oh, True Love's first kiss or whatever. And what if she was just like, oh yeah, Snow White, she makes out with schoolboys all the time. Like she's already been kissed. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
We're fine. I'm sure she's smacked everybody in the village now.
And she does laugh. Like you could just insert a line and it would really change the plot there.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I don't know. I like that just because it's, any of these like deeper connection between Disney movies or another way I've looked at it that I haven't before. I'm all for it. I'm all just like, yep, let's do that. I like that so much. Wrapping it up, what do you think about the last chapter? I mean, to me, the animals are obviously huge. As much as you don't understand why they're still around at this point in the movie, they pretty much save her life on multiple occasions. The scene happens in this chapter where the witch rocks up at the window and they have that like jump cut right to her and she's in the window. That's the scariest image of Disney maybe ever. I actually would like to know of a better frame. I was thinking at the time, like, what psychopath probably has this framed on their wall at home or something like, someone's gone that route. You know what I mean? There's people out there for everything.
I would argue down the road, Maleficent in the fireplace is up there.
We know you think that.
Both of them, though, they're staring right at the camera.
Yeah, it really
and they have
messes with
scary
you.
eyes, and it's really haunting no matter what age you are. I did find it funny when she is giving the apple and she says, it's a wishing apple, make your wish.
Smart.
And Snow White is like really elaborating, like pretty long about her wish. And she's like, hey, wrap it up. Like, what if Snow White kept going like,
and then I want 4 kids. Well, hold on. 2 boys, two girls. I want the 2 girls to be younger.
It's like, oh my God, the dwarves are going to be here, lady. Just like eat the goddamn apple.
What her crazy rush was. Like, I was like, if I was the person doing this plan, I'm not going to freak out. I'm just be like, you know what?
Let's work through your wishes first.
Like, let's really make it. I've got a perfect plan, the crazy apple. I don't know. I was just like, what's the rush? Like, you're going to blow your cover. But it was funny how, like, it's very palpable. She's like, golly, like, go.
And one of them,
Just really funny.
And then I want 2 horses, one white, one black. And I ride the white one. Rosabelle. And the other one I'll ride on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
It's just, it could have gone longer. It would be hilarious. I would love to see like a parody of that one where the witch just gets like mugged on the way to the cottage and never like gets her apples taken and everything, because she's like made herself a defenseless old woman walking around like a country road, and God knows what age this is, where people are still locking people up in dungeons.
Yep.
There's like burglars and marauders or whatever they're called.
Yep. I don't know.
It's one of those things where you look at it when you're older and it just looks different. But that scene where she's at the window is still scary today.
Yeah, and no,
They are.
it really is. And I do wonder, even with her death, did the lightning bolt, it seemed random, right?
Very.
But I kind of think, remember when she's stirring her drink and she says a lightning bolt to steer it? I think the
Oh.
lightning bolt got tired of stirring her drink and said, "Hey, take a spoon, lady. All right,
Nice
if she asks one more time, I'm gonna get her."
Shaken, not stirred. How about?
Yeah,
shaken up.
exactly.
2 in a row.
Yeah, that's a
exactly.
great point. Because she's obviously got like real dark interests, and she's obviously been using these spells. Well, there's cobwebs and stuff, but she's got a lot of materials around.
Yeah, she does.
Like, dude, I was thinking about that potion she makes, where it's like, golly, what is it even called? I forget. Like mummy dust,
Yeah, mommy
black
does.
of night.
Ghosts. Yeah.
Scream of fright, old hag's cackle. I'm like, dude, if I read that ingredients list, that's like a pie or something. Like, I don't have any of this. I can't make this. You know?
Yeah.
I've got to have to figure out how to get it away. But she's just like, oh yeah, you need old hag's cackle. Give it to right.
Exactly. Yeah, you can get it down at Whole Foods now.
Easy,
It just comes in
easy.
a little vial.
Yeah.
It's much easier to be a witch these days.
It's just that lightning bolt just needs to get off his ass and come stir my cauldron.
All right.
This is like one of the first, if not the first. I think it is the first feature-length animated film.
It
And
is.
for them to have come out
100%.
swinging like this, so we could still watch and enjoy this. And it's bonkers, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's so crazy.
It is. It is.
Um,
And kids still dress up as Snow White as well. Like it's not just for the adults who like care about the
Mhm.
history of Disney.
Yeah.
It still holds its own compared to the Frozens and Aladdin and
And
like
it
those
should.
types of modern movies.
And it should. I think that's right. I think that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
It's amazing.
Let's jump into our favorite categories. With song, I don't think I have a lot of guesses on which ones yours could be, but why don't you just tell us anyways? What was your favorite song
Yeah.
in this movie? Which wins
Now
the
that I
prize?
found you, here's what I have to say.
That's a great
one song.
line. That's a good one. I've got to go with Hi Ho. Hi Ho to me. I also have heard a remix of it, like a rap
I know you
remix.
have.
And I've showed it to you. I know you
I
hate it.
refuse. Yeah, I can't.
I just think that's it.
Don't
I
mess with
always
it.
hear it. It's like the beat breaks down. It's so good.
I want to
Um,
change scenes around for one day, but I can't hear a remix
Yeah,
of any of these
yeah.
songs.
You want to remix
I'm
the
a
entire
weird
plot
cat.
from the upper management. Like,
Yeah,
you don't listen to
exactly.
other people messing around with it. Who's your favorite character?
This one was so hard.
It is hard.
I guess I like fall back on the queen,
Whoa.
but yeah, I like if she doesn't exist, this movie falls very flat. And that's how I looked at it. Like she is a really good character and she drives a lot of the basic aspects of looking back at this movie today.
Sounds like you really separate the queen and the witch more than I think she is separated.
No, queen or witch. It's always a slash.
Favorite character?
Yeah.
I respect
I'm not
that.
saying it's the one I want to hang out
You're a
with. by
sick
any means.
freak. You're the
Alright.
guy I'm talking about who's got that Windows scene up
Yeah,
on your
I
wall.
can't turn the screen. It's okay.
I'll look at you later. I think mine's Doc. We didn't talk a ton about the dwarves. Did you even like the dwarves?
No, I don't. And that's the biggest.
It's a question, you know. Like,
Yeah, it's the biggest flop here. And I get it from the animation standpoint. Like Walt was so excited of all the different little animations that they could do with the different scenes and the
Mhm.
cooking and cleaning. But that is where this movie falls flat. And if a kid watched this and was like, I don't enjoy this, like this doesn't age well, it is those scenes with
Yeah.
the dwarves.
But then again,
They're
if you
too
strip
long.
them away-
It's
they're-
not even their
just they're
fault. It's just too long.
They're way too long. I did like the scene where they essentially waterboard Grumpy. That's actually my favorite scene. I'll move on to that.
Mm.
Where they're all having to wash up at the tub, and Grumpy refuses. It is one of the most surprisingly violent scenes in Disney that I can remember. Obviously, we'll go through more of them, but like I just imagine a real person having like people with bars of soap like smashing at your face and then like dunking him in the water, and they're all singing. It's very like disturbing.
Yeah.
That caught me off guard so much that I was like, bravo, that was weird of you guys to do. It was slapstick, but it was like too far slapstick to where I was like, he might not make it to dinner. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, out of that, my favorite character's got to be Doc, just because he seems to be the most complex of the dwarves. I really didn't like any of them, but I like the leadership role he's taken.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I like that one.
What was your favorite scene?
Favorite scene was the end with the kiss, and they ride off in the sunset.
The heavens scene.
And Snow White is on the horse and he walks along. Like, I have seen this movie once every 5 years for the 29 years of my life. I don't know why, but I just really bought into the love story and like was feeling something in my heart in that last scene. And I've never had that before. I don't know why, but I completely bought their love story this time.
Did you? See, I had a hard time doing it. It
was the songs, man. I'm telling you.
It's that one song.
Yeah, it is one song.
Favorite quote? What do you got?
Yeah, so Snow White, and there's some humor involved, and then just a good line. But when the huntsman is about to kill her, and he breaks down and says, like, I'm sorry, please forgive me.
With his beautiful emerald eyes.
Oh, yeah.
My God, what a stunner.
And Snow White says, like, why? I don't understand, which is ridiculous because she was about to get murdered, and like that wouldn't be the first thing you'd say. And then he responds saying, she's mad, jealous of you. She'll stop at nothing. And I think that could have been like the tagline of the movie, or like in the trailer. Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's not the one line or the one song you'd want, but yeah, she's mad, jealous of you. She'll stop at nothing.
That's pretty good, actually. I could see it being like one of those trailers from like the early 2000s where it's like, and it's like, she's jealous of you, and stop at nothing. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good quote. My favorite is in the scene where they're in the cottage and she's trying to peddle her apples, and she pops up in the window and it's really scary, and you look and then she says, making pies?
Oh, yeah.
And that's all she says. And I just thought it was like so conversational and in a different direction than what I thought that interaction was going. So that was my favorite. Second, too, and this has always been my favorite, but I already mentioned it. Now that I found you, here are what I have to say.
Yeah.
Which, if I ever could
It's a great line.
It is a great line.
Like, in general, that could be something you say, and people wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about. But a real Disney fan, like, if they picked up on that.
They hear it.
Like, it could be a coworker in the office.
Crazy.
Like, not in a creepy way, obviously. Let me rephrase this. But you could
now
just
that I found you.
No. See, it's all about the tone. Don't screw this up. It's all about the tone. It's like, hey, now that I found you, here's what I have to say. You sent me that report. Like, I lost it in my inbox. But there's so many different ways you could apply that.
Bob, now that I found you, hear what I have to say. I think
I think I'm gonna start using this at work tomorrow.
Snow White?
Yeah.
Did you just Snow White me?
Let's move to our playground pick'em. This is where we kind of put the characters into an interesting circumstance of sorts. We've decided to go with a round of golf, and we draft characters that the other person has to play it with. Let's say we do two.
Yep.
I'll give you first pick because I'm a really, really nice guy. So you get to pick mine. I have to go on 18 holes with these two characters, and then I'll vice versa for you.
This one is easy for me. It is Snow White.
I did not see that coming at all.
Snow White. I'm gonna pair you with Snow White, okay?
Oh my gosh.
And you guys have to ride in the cart together. All right. And
just that alarm clock voice, just
yeah, exactly.
Dude.
And she's gonna be asking you like the rules.
Every question.
She's not really gonna know how to play golf. She's not gonna know. Like, she's gonna be an embarrassing person for like your other peeps that you play with.
Oh,
like
the other person's ball?
Yeah, exactly. A
don't
lot of
pick
that.
up, man.
A lot of that.
Sorry, sir.
I'm wishing
All the animals from the forest are
for
like
this putt to go. It would
I
be a mess.
That is a really, really good pick. See, I would give you the witch, but I actually could see her having like some game, like getting serious, wearing
Bring her
the
to me.
visor, and being like,
Have a great
"I'm
time.
not fucking around. I've got this." You know. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say you've got to go with. God, even I could see there's upsides to a few people. I'm gonna say Sneezy. Sneezy, you
Oh.
got to go with. Just imagine that backswing. You get a couple practices in.
Yeah,
Achoo!
that would be a problem.
Nightmare.
That's a good point. I would hate playing with anyone that would like be making any noise in your
Can't help it.
backswing,
And
let
all the
alone.
pollen he's got outside.
Oh
who the
yeah,
hell
it
knows?
would be a mess. Yeah,
Yeah.
he would have like a full-on allergy attack.
Just scratch golfer, but
It
just
would
sneezing
suck.
all over the place.
That's a good one. I'm really
Okay.
looking forward to this thing.
Who are you pairing with me and Snow White?
Yeah, I'm gonna pair the queen. Okay, separate characters.
Okay.
So I'm
yeah,
gonna pair the queen with you,
Okay.
and with her, making up rules. The magic mirror's coming. Okay,
Oh,
and
as a caddy?
as the caddy, and any rule that you break, it's gonna
He's
be
a
jumping
snitch,
on you.
man. He's a
Oh,
snitch.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I
So
forgot to say that.
I hope that you follow all of the golf
Every
rules
rule.
very
That's
specifically
not a
because of magic.
gimme.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't normally putt those.
Yeah,
Don't go good. He'll miss it.
exactly.
I totally see what you mean.
Queen, he picked up his ball. It's like, oh yeah, all of
What
those
was
things
that
coming
kick? Dude, because there's a scene in the movie where she's like, where's Snow White? And I'm thinking, he's going to cover. He's a slave. He doesn't actually like her. And he's like,
Okay, you know that cabin where you go into the woods?
I was like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Yeah, she's there. So I was like, oh my gosh, you snitch. Yeah, he
Yeah.
would be a brutal. He's like pulling the rule book on everybody.
But then that's just between you and the queen. You got to think about Snow White. Everything Snow White does, the queen is going to hate. Like I have paired you
because she knows.
Oh yeah, no, it's the three of you all interacting with just the magic mirror, catching any cheating that you're doing.
Dude, if I'm riding in the cart with Snow White and the queen is riding in a cart with a mirror, I am going to be worrying at every single tee box, is this the one she's going to try and kill her at?
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's just over there just like, because she's kind of a scary woman. So like she's driving over this.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Snow, I think you just better just take a drop on this one. Let's move along.
He
That'll be
loves
2
me.
shots.
He loves me not. He loves it's like, hey.
Luckily, I'm so fair. Maybe even the fairest in the land.
And she's like, I don't know. I could see her beating me though, which is also tough. Okay, for your second, you've got Sneezy. I want to go with another dwarf, although there's parts of it that would be funny. Like I think if you went with Grumpy, there's an element where he's so grouchy, it'd be hilarious to play with him. You know, just watching a player with you freak out.
Yeah.
I could see you not liking that energy, but I think instead of that, I'm going to go with Sleepy. Because those are the two most boring characters, I think, to play with. And Sleepy would fall asleep, like, in the cart.
Yeah.
You'd have to go wake him up and, like, have him take a shot. You'd feel like from hole 3 that you were, like, dragging him through the game. That's a terrible outing. And that's what I'm going to give you.
Yeah, it's a really good pick because each one of them on its own you could get through, but the two of them paired together, I just feel like an anchor's been put on my legs. And I just golf can already take it out of you if you're playing by yourself and playing bad,
100%.
let alone these two.
Oh, and you know they're not good.
Down.
They've just, I mean, I guess they've got that pickaxe swing, so like they're working against that.
Good. That actually might make it worse that they're actually good and annoying.
Oh, can you imagine? There's like the worst people to be with, but just like whipping your ass every hole you get up there.
I could kind of see Snow White just like first time's a charm.
Oh,
and the queen
turns out I'm
hates
great.
it.
Like a hole in one.
Exactly.
Is that a hole in one? And all the animals are like moving her ball around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like in Space Jam.
Yeah.
It's like the animals just moving the ball to
the magnet.
Yeah,
100%. Okay, so those are good. Those are good trios. Tell me this, Jay. Do you think this movie's worth a rewatch if you're in our position like we are? But if other people out there have, watched this growing up, is it worth a rewatch now? Do you think it's a good one to go back to?
If you're not that big of a Disney fan and you watch like one Disney movie a year, I would say don't prioritize this one. But if you are looking for an older Disney movie that still holds up, this is a really good one to revisit. Some of it's aged, and like as we've discussed, it's like fun dissecting it. But yeah, I mean, what would you think? Would you recommend someone our age, for instance, watching this?
Jeez. You'd think that knowing that we were going to have this question, I would already have an answer in my head. I'm really back and forth on it. Like, I could say, if the witch is still a fear you need to conquer, yeah, go get that. Go watch that movie. Go see what there is to be afraid of and whatnot. You know, it's nice to reflect from a Batman perspective of conquering the darkness.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it was a problem for you growing up, yeah, conquer that. Get in that cave. You know, let the witches surround you. But at the same time, it's not a movie that's going to get better once you're old. It's an avocado risotto. You know what I mean? It's already browned by now a little bit. It's interesting if you want to really think about it as this is 1937. This is the first Disney movie. Let's see what they had to crack out. Would you say it's worth a watch if you've never seen it? You're a Disney fan, let's say. You like Disney movies.
Yeah. If you're remotely a Disney fan and haven't seen it, it's a rite of passage.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to see this movie.
Here's the real question. If you ever had children, which neither of us do, would you show it to them? And if so, when?
I would say at like 8 or 9 years old. I would actually argue that us being scared of many of these Disney villains as a kid, that it grew a bit of character in both of us. A little bit of perspective, perhaps.
I could not agree.
It was scary in the moment, but like I wouldn't wait until
it wouldn't be scary at all.
Old. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where it wouldn't be scary.
That's crazy you say that.
Is that messed up? Should we not be parents because of this?
Maybe. Very, very likely that's the case.
Many other reasons,
but
not this one.
Yeah, I'm thinking I want that fear for my child. I do. Not that I want to like show it to them when they're like just out of the womb and be like, check this out. You're going to love it. But I don't think I'd shield them from that. It's a Disney movie that I had to go through. It built me into who I am. I think that it's important to have it, and you get over it. You know, you can't unless you're Hope, and you never do.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to do about that? Okay, let's wrap it up with a toast to this movie, Jay.
Yeah.
Let's raise a glass. Why don't you start us off? What do you got for us?
Yeah. I'm going to say to Walt and the staff for betting the cottage. And I believe that the best inventions are the ones that seem so obvious. And I think this is one of those like amazing inventions in American history.
Beautifully said. Cheers to that. Mine's a simple one. Mine's just simply a toast to the movie that started it all.
Woo!
The avocado risotto. Cheers to you, Snow White. And with that brings us to the end of our little walkabout. Jay, what do we have next? What are we going through next?
We got Pinocchio.
Another heavy-hitting classic. Yeah, hold me down.
Hi, diddly-a.
Or that. Hi, diddly-dee. I might say hi, diddly-a. We'll find out who's correct next time we get on. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you then. A business relationship. You want my puppets?
Wow, how different of a scene would that be? You just blast Stromboli, takes his money.
Just comes up to the cart window.
Give me my original
GTA.
Yeah. Pulls him out and takes the dog. Geppetto, dude.